Welcome to Art169. This is the type demo specifically for set 2 in within Photoshop. So if you watch the Illustrator demo, you must be thinking, oh no, like Illustrator's so cool. I can't do anything cool things in Photoshop with type because this seems like Illustrator's king. Well, if you are more comfortable with Photoshop, there is options for you, so don't feel stressed. So, like in Illustrator, our keyboard shortcut is T for type. They make this very intuitive and easy for us, which is nice. And your mouse will spin and think about it. And there's area type where you can drag out. And your mouse will think about it. And I'm actually going to change my color from white to a pink because that's the kind of person I am. And I can just type my name. And I can confirm that layer. Or I can do point type as well. And Photoshop will make us new layers for all the type that we're using, which is nice. We do not have to make a new layer every time we do something new in type. So I'm going to put a letter down. Lowercase j, let's just go for that. And I'm just going to go to our selection tool, just so out. And let's say I want my j to be bigger. What I can do is do a Command T free transform. And you see this bounding box. I'm going to zoom in because my font is little. And I can scale it up. Now, since this is actually kind of vector type files, I can do that and I can make it wider. This is a really great advantage that Photoshop has. And it is still live text, which is really cool. So I'm actually going to hide these layers. And I can option click and drag to make duplicates if I want. Command T for my free transform. I'm going to make sure I'm on the right layer. And I can do cool things already. And I'm just using my keyboard to nudge that along. And there, I like it. So I'm going to hide all that. And I'm going to put a D. Double click, and I might, Illustrator's great because I can scale up through here. And remember, you can always change your font. And it'll put your most used fonts up here. You can play around with weights if the font does so. And again, you can download fonts. If you want your character panel, you can go to Window, Character, and you can have the same kerning, leading, tracking, vertical, horizontal scale, extra fun stuff just like you did in Photoshop. But let's say I want to play around. If I go to type and convert to shape. So just like in Illustrator, I've made this into a shape. Now we're using vector parts of Photoshop, so it's not as smooth as it is in Illustrator. So remember, we have, if you go down, we have the path selection tool, which is your selection tool in Illustrator, and your direct selection tool. So with my direct selection tool, I need to double click. I can edit type just like I'm able to within Photoshop as well. So if I'm really comfortable in Photoshop and I want to do something cool, it's still kind of a vector thing. You may not be able to do all of your favorite elements to it because it's working as a vector object within a raster-based program. So again, you can play with layer styles and all your other traditional Photoshop things. But you may need to find yourself right-clicking and rasterizing layers to make it into a pixel shape object sometimes to do some effects. Sometimes when we work in these Illustrator formats, like with type or the shapes down here, the lower part, which a lot of you had some difficulty with, you may need to find yourself making them into raster objects because Photoshop is a raster pixel-based program. But you can do a lot of cool things here in Photoshop as well. Remember, set 2 1.9 is not about language. We're not making, it's about using text, characters, letters, numerals as shapes. So I hope this was a little informative. Definitely play around before you get your ideas out. Getting this down may inspire some different things down the line. And I hope you enjoy. And if you have further questions, always ask.